Welcome to another edition of the Nightly Nuge. And Ted, this week, I want to talk about the invasion of America. And I'm not coining this phrase, you've coined it. And I want to break down for our listeners this week the ramifications of what's going on at our southern border and the ripple effect thereof. Today, I want to talk about just the direct threat. But later this week, we're going to talk about the homelessness crisis and where we're housing these people. We're going to get into drugs. We're going to get into crime and other things. But Ted, as our producer Tim is showing these video clips of what's going on at our southern border, I want to give our listeners this stat. The standing U.S. Army is 1.4 million individuals. China, it's 2 million, and North Korea is 1.3 million. Yet in 2022, Ted, there have been 2.7 million illegal invaders coming into our country. Over 250,000 of foreign nationals came into America in August. Is this a recipe for disaster?
Yeah, right. And I'm going to eat venison this week. Well, welcome back to the Nightly Nuge, everybody, where truth, logic, and common sense prevails because it is the rocket fuel for the American dream, spirit, and soul. And no matter what kind of horrific, heartbreaking, toxic, evil, demonic information we may initiate here on the Nightly Nuge, I want everybody to take a deep breath. And it's important to dissect all these toxic conditions and these intentional, orchestrated, engineered destruction of America. I just want you to know that it is September, cluster 23, and you have got to stand strong. You've got to prioritize, because what Keith just outlined is so inescapable, so irrefutable, that the United States government, Uncle Sam, is bringing in military-aged men who are so desperate and have been so brainwashed to hate America that Uncle Sam now is the threat to the United States of America. And that is so heartbreaking, so horrific, that any American that hasn't called their senator, their congressman, their governor, their mayor, and communicated with their law enforcement officials in their home region and let them know that we see what's going on, as on the Texas border with a Republican governor, Greg Abbott, he's got the Border Patrol and law enforcement and Homeland Security driving their boats back and forth, watching military-aged men by the millions from the Congo, from Somalia, from the Sudan, from China. Does everybody grasp what I just said? Who can't see that the United States security forces are escorting America-hating military-aged men? Look at them on the streets of New York. Look at them in Chicago. Look at them in Baltimore. Look at them all over this country as our government escorts America-hating military monsters, and then will mysteriously make them American citizens so they can buy guns. A lot of people are going, "Oh, listen to Nuge, what did the CIA call it?" That's right, conspiracy theorists. So, Keith, I couldn't have imagined this. My father dragged off GIs from the battlefield for the U.S. Constitution and a secure country. Now Uncle Sam is the biggest enemy to the Constitution and a secure America. My friends, no more yapping. If you're not wagging your fingers in the face of your local law enforcement and anybody who represents you and say, we've got to stop this, I don't want to do anything except turn them back. And I got to tell you, Keith, here it is, September. I'm going to have the greatest hunting season of my life. I just wrapped up the greatest tour of my life. If you followed me around, you could be spoiled and think that America is the best place and perfect, because my band, my crew, the audience is up in the Upper Peninsula, the people I hung around with, the people at the coffee shop, the people at the sporting goods store, everywhere I go, they adhere to the truth, logic, and common sense that is the battle cry of the Nightly Nuge. And we are so spoiled that we're watching and allowing the invasion of America. And we better be ready to play the Alamo again, but this time we got to kill Santa Anna right away.
So let me just repeat these numbers for our listeners. It's just hard to comprehend. Over 2.7 million illegal invaders came into our country in 2022. We're over that number already in September of 23. So that's over 5 million military-age men, because you saw the video, no women, no kids, 5 million. And I repeat, the Chinese standing army is 2 million. The U.S. standing army is just under 1.4 million, and North Korea is 1.3. So if you add those three military forces together, we have more illegal invaders inside the wall right now than those three countries combined. I'm going to give you one other stat, Ted, and let you have the final word. Under President Trump in 2020, less than 500,000 illegal invaders made it into our country. Again, just in the last 2 years, Joe Biden has allowed over 5 million. President Trump has vowed he will have the largest deportation of illegals that's ever been seen in this country if he's reelected. I'm concerned, Ted. 5 million in 2 years, that's enough to defeat the armies of three of the big superpowers. What's the takeaway for our listeners?
Well, the takeaway is that we're bending over and spreading our cheeks if we're not participating as vociferous activists demanding secure borders. You know, it's too late. It's too late for secure borders. Now, our military and law enforcement, and I really believe we, the people, the citizens, are going to have to round up these illegal invaders, find out who they are, and we'll start by just making sure that we corral them and send them the hell back home. We should... You know, Keith, I have my world wrapped up. Even though I'm banned from Facebook, I'm banned. There's no First Amendment for Ted Nuge or conservatives. And I got to tell you, I raise hell every day. And I demand accountability from my elected employees. But my goodness, the only real answer is that everybody better be reasonably, if not proficiently trained in the art of self-defense with adequate firepower, because Uncle Sam is bringing in America-hating terrorists by the millions and allowing them to become citizens, and they too will have a Second Amendment right. This is not Planet of the Apes. This is Planet of the Rodents. Our government is a rat. Our government is a snake. Joe Biden and the Fettermans and the Kamala Harris, the entire Democrat Party, and most of the Republicans are allowing America to bend over and be invaded by they're desperate men. These are military-age, desperate men. So I'd like to wrap it up by everybody saying, stay confident, be sure you get outdoors. We're going to talk about this every week because there's so much bad and ugly that we have got to maximize the good. And if we really unite and we go to hunternation.org, we're going to put it on the screen every show. I'm going to do it on every episode of Ted Nugent, Spirit of the Wild TV 8 times a week on the Pursuit channel. If you haven't got the Pursuit channel, get the Pursuit channel. But we've got to raise our healthy voice. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. This nightly Nuge is really accomplishing something, waking people up and uniting people. And it's brought to you by tednugent.com, because I am now banned from social media. And we just had a run. I'm going to tell you, there is a chance to get some battle cry debris here. And I autographed all these American flag guitars, and if you go to, you got to actually email my son Toby at tednugent.com. We'll put it on the screen here. Toby at tednugent.com. So there is a way to support the things you believe in. And guys like Mike Lindell, guys like me, guys like Keith, hunternation.org, those of us that support the real America, freedom, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, we, the people, have to support those that support us, because Uncle Sam is currently the enemy of America.
Well, tomorrow night, Ted, we're going to talk about the invasion of America and how it impacts the homeless crisis, and where in the world are all these people staying? Well, if they're in New York, 3-star or better hotels. We'll talk about that tomorrow right here on The Nightly Nuge.